Welcome back to another ranking, guys. Today, we're ranking new metal albums, and a lot of you guys may be surprised on why it took me so long to make this. Well, not that it took me a long time to make this video, but why I'm making it now, and I didn't already make it like a month ago. It's because I did try to make it a month ago, but I guess that day I just wasn't feeling it, so I was demotivated and never finished the video. And the tier list stayed on my tier maker account for a very long time. But now I'm going to see if I can finish this video today, because new metal is one of my favorite styles of metal, and it just feels weird not having at least one ranking on my channel about the genre. So yeah, hopefully I'm actually able to finish it this time. And yeah, let's just get started, since I never finished it that day a month ago. It started with Hybrid Theory from Linkin Park, and I think this album's amazing. Easily my favorite album from them. One of the best debut albums of this time. And I basically like every song. There's a few songs I'm not the biggest fan of, like Paper Cuts, or the last song, forgot the name of it. But yeah, most of the songs are great. Both the singles and the deep cuts. Really like the mix between rapping and singing. One of the best rap rock slash rap metal slash new metal albums, for sure. And it's easy to see why this album is as popular as it is. It deserves it. And definitely a very influential and iconic album for sure. Next I got Slipknot's self-titled album. And you could say the same thing about it. Probably one of my favorite new metal albums ever, also. And it is one of the heaviest ones too, with a lot of screaming vocals. There's still a few parts with clean singing, but like 90% of it is screaming vocals. But they really don't bother me that much, because I think Corey Taylor's harsh vocals sound pretty good to me. I know that some people, they may sound like a baby first extreme metal band, but I still really like Slipknot's first two albums. So yeah, this album has a lot of great riffs, a lot of great weird turntable stuff, and guitar hip-hop melodies. A lot of great drumming too from Joey Jordison. And of course, like I said, the vocals are great. And it's the perfect length too. It's not too long, not too short. So yeah, Slipknot's first album, definitely a classic for sure. And yeah, definitely a great album. It's a little too angry for me to listen to it all the time, but whenever I'm in the mood for it, it does come in clutch. So yeah. Next I got Follow the Leader from Korn, and also put this album in amazing tier. Korn are easily one of my favorite bands, and they're by far my favorite new metal band. And this album is definitely one of their best. It's easy to see why this album broke them into the mainstream. But yeah, there's just a lot of great drumming on here. David Silveria has a very unique style of drumming, which I really like. It sounds slightly offbeat, but in a very good way. And it does sound very funky and groovy as well. And of course the riffs and the turntables sound very nice as well. And yes, I am aware that Korn don't use real turntables, at least not on this album. They use the guitars to make them sound like turntables, which is totally fine with me. Sounds very weird but unique at the same time. And the bass has a really unique sound to it. Fieldy's bass is of course very iconic. And of course Jonathan does a lot of interesting vocal stuff on here. Like scatting, of course the singing and screaming and raspy vocals. There's just a lot to like about this album. And I basically like every song, except for the bonus track with Cheech and Chong. Not the biggest fan of that song. But the rest of the songs I really like, both the singles, the deep cuts, the features, everything. Everything comes together well in this album. There's no shocker on why it's at the very top and why it became as big as it was. So yeah. Next I got Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water from Limp Bizkit. That was a great tier. It's not the very top of new metal. That goes to Significant Other, but this is more popular, so I included it. Plus, I didn't want to put all the albums in amazing tier. We have to make this at least a little interesting, instead of just glazing the whole genre. But it's still a great album. It's a little too long for me. I wish they'd cut out a few tracks that maybe don't need to be on there. But besides that, it's still great. I still love the singles. A lot of the deep cuts are good and the features. And I really do not mind Limp Bizkit that much. I can sort of understand why they're hated, but I really don't mind. I really don't care. Their songs are still very fun and nostalgic, even though I never lived in the late 90s or early 2000s. Well, not the start of the 2000s, at least. Not during the new metal movement, like 1997 to 2003. I never lived in that, but it is still, it does have a very nostalgic sound to it. I guess you can say it makes you nostalgic for a time you never lived in. I guess if I did live through that time, then that's what I would assume that it would be like. But it is a very great album, a lot of good songs. Both the singles, the music videos, the deep cuts, still very, very good. Next, I got Around the Fur from Deftones, and it's alright. I mean, there's a few songs I like Be Quiet and Drive and My Own Summer. But a lot of the lesser known songs I'm not the biggest fan of. I know Deftones is a very well respected band for sure. They are very, very well respected, and almost everyone likes them. I am aware of this. However, I still do not like the sound that much. It's not bad. I definitely like it more than their other stuff. But I'm not the biggest fan of Deftones. But this is, I guess, my favorite album from them. The most tolerable album for me. And I'm also not a big fan of the last track, MX, where it's basically just silence with 2 bonus tracks put in there. I really don't think it's necessary. I know you could just skip it, but the bonus tracks don't even sound that good to me either, so there's no point really. Like, if I listen to this album, I just don't listen to MX in its entirety, because why should I, you know? So yeah, there are a few songs I like on here, and it's honestly not bad. It's an alright album. It's fine. But when it comes to other new metal bands, I prefer them more. I understand why people love this album as much as they do, because Deftones are a very appealing band for a lot of music fans. However, I'm just not that into them. But I do respect them, and I don't hate them, which is good, of course. Next, I got Infest from Papa Roach, and it's also alright. The first 3 songs I really like: Last Resort, Broken Home, and the title track. They're very catchy, very iconic singles. But the rest of the album is okay, but it never really clicked with me as hard. This album's alright. It's an alright new metal release from when it was the most popular. It's alright. Actually, I don't think I really have that much to say about this album. Other than it's alright. First 3 songs I really like, the rest of it's not that good, but still okay, still decent. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say. Next, I got Down with the Sickness. Well, I guess the album's just called The Sickness. Down with the Sickness is the song. But The Sickness by itself is the album. Next, I got this. I don't like it that much. This album does have its defenders, but I am seeing more and more people nowadays not liking this album that much. And it's pretty easy to see why. I mean, the vocals aren't the best in my opinion. This guy sounds like the most generic rock vocalist ever, and I don't really like his voice. And a lot of the songs are pretty corny and stupid. There's a lot of weird noises in here, but I don't like these weird noises the same way what Korn does. Korn do it in a very like interesting and creepy way, while Disturbed, they just do it in an annoying way. And it's just not that memorable to me, besides of course the overplayed song that everyone knows. I mean, I guess there's a couple of other songs that are pretty decent, but most of this album is just not for me. It's just not very memorable. There's not that the vocals are not the best, and it's just kind of generic, kind of just a new metal shovelware album. I don't understand how it got as popular as it did, but at least people are realizing, hey, maybe this album isn't the best nowadays. I'm not even that big of a fan of Disturbed, but I can agree that their later stuff is at least a little better than this. So yeah, not a fan. Not a fan. Next, I got the Fundamental Elements of Southtown from POD, and it's also alright. There's definitely a few good songs, and a lot of those songs do mix rapping and metal together really well. But it is a little bloated, it's too long, there's a lot of songs that don't need to be there. And if they shorten it and kept like the really big singles that I really like, then I feel like it would go in the good tier right here. So yeah, it's gonna have to go into okay tier. But I do like it more than these two though. It's very close to good tier. They just removed a lot of the songs, so it would go into good, if I had to say. Next I got LD50 from Mudvayne. And I don't like it. I do like it more than this album though. But yeah, I guess I appreciate the song Dig. It is pretty catchy and pretty good. I do like the weird, like, odd time signatures and bass sounds they put in there that make no sense at all, but it does sound pretty good to me. But the rest of the songs I really don't like. The song's too long. There's too many forgettable songs on it in my opinion. And a lot of the technical mathy stuff doesn't really work with nu metal in my opinion. It's just not a combination that I feel like works. If you want to make like proggy nu metal, I think like the more melodic and conceptual side of prog metal would fit better with nu metal than the more technical, brutal, mathy side. Like an album like Issues by Korn is what I'm talking about, because it is very conceptual. There's a lot of transitions, and there's a lot of melodies. There's a lot of soft and heavy sections, almost like something you hear in like Operation Mindcrime or Seven Son of a Seven Son. If prog metal does mix with nu metal, that's what I prefer over this, which sounds more like a gent band trying to do nu metal, which I'm really not a big fan of. So yeah, not the best mix of prog metal and nu metal. I definitely prefer Korn's more prog side than this if I want the mixture between the two styles. So yeah, just not a big fan of this combination. And the vocals aren't the best in my opinion. They're okay, but they could be better. This you're playing is not bad though, but this album, yeah, still not a fan of it. Next I got Wisconsin Death Trip from Static X. And I also don't like that album that much. Not the biggest fan of industrial music, like at all really. I don't like industrial metal or industrial music or industrial rock or any of that stuff really. Nine Inch Nails are good, I do like them, but besides that, I'm not the biggest fan of industrial music. So I just never liked the sound that much. Push It I really like, it's a very catchy song. Yeah, come push it. Yeah, come push it. Sorry, I did not need to do that. But anyway, that song's good. But the rest of the songs I didn't care for that much. Sounds too abrasive for me. I guess too heavy. Not necessarily too heavy, but too headache inducing. Because I'm really not a big fan of industrial music. So I didn't really need a nu metal industrial crossover, really. I know a lot of bands did that, but that's just not a side of nu metal that I really appreciate that much. So yeah, it's going to go into bad tier. I understand why people like it, but it is really not for me. Next, I got Coal Chamber's first album. I put it in good tier. It's not great, but it is still a competent album. Still good. I still like most of the songs. It does have that raw, early nu metal sound that I really liked to it as well. So yeah, both the singles and the deep cuts I like. Never really cared for the last song that much. Thought it was a little unnecessary. But still a good early nu metal release before the genre became mainstream. And if you want early raw nu metal like Korn's first two albums or Adrenaline from Deftones, please listen to this because it has that same sound. If you like the more raw and early nu metal than the later and more commercial nu metal. And finally, I have Roots from Sepultura. Now, this is debated on whether or not it counts as nu metal or not. A lot of people say it does because there's scatting and weird turntable stuff with the guitars, like what Korn does. And I think there's a few nu metal singers on it for guest features. And of course, there's a lot of other weird, funky influences as well. So I'd say it counts, but if you don't count it, that's totally understandable. And yeah, I don't know where to rank this album. I just don't know. Let's put it at okay tier. Actually, never mind. I don't like it. I don't really like Sepultura that much in general. They're on like the heavier side of metal that I don't really listen to that much, like the heavier, more extreme, more groove focused metal. Really don't care for them that much. And I only listened to this album because it was under the nu metal label by some people, and it was on Rate Your Music too. I mean, I do appreciate a few songs like the title track and Radamahata, but most of the songs I don't really like that much. And I do appreciate the experimentation. I do appreciate it. It is better than all these other albums in bad tier, but I still don't like it that much. It's not because it's bad per se. I just don't like it that much. It's just a really not for me album. But hey, at least I included it. And yeah, that's my new metal ranking. If you enjoyed, make sure to check out my other videos, like, subscribe, all the good stuff. I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in to these videos recently and subscribing and viewing, of course. I want to say thank you so much because my channel has grown so much over this summer, and I am very grateful for that. Very, very grateful. Because before, it was not even half the subs there was now. So yeah, I am very grateful that I have as many subs as I do now, because I am gaining them very fast, which I do appreciate. I appreciate all your guys' views, and I do appreciate you guys tuning into the channel and being happy watching my videos. I do appreciate it, honestly. I know my opinions maybe a little not 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 objectively respected, because some people think I'm rage baiting. But still, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next ranking video.